Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome His Excellency the President of the Republic of Sierra Leone.
Thank you very much. One day we get to the place now, the Honorable Vice President, Madam First Lady, Chief Minister, the Honorable Minister of Information and Communication, the Chairman, Independent Media Commission, the President of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists, the Fourth Estate, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Editor Lelea, are the bossman today I will start with a very short story about three men. One was an editor, photographer Lelea.
Yes,
the other one have been photographer. And the other one have been reporter, journalist. These three were covering a convention actually in Miami. And in Miami they have a very beautiful beach. They decided to go up and down the beach while the convention was going on. Halfway up the beach, they stumbled into a magician. And this magician said to them, normally, when I see people, I let them fulfill 3 of their wishes. But since you are 3, I will only fulfill 1 wish for each and every one of you. I had a photographer, Mago. He said, I will be the first. I would like to spend the rest of my life. The wish when the photographer began. He said, if you want to spend the rest of your life, now a very beautiful, huge house, and you don't forget any money problem. Then the magician granted him his wish and sent him off to the Caribbean in a beautiful mansion with everything. He didn't have to worry about anything anymore. Then came the journalist, the reporter. Then the magician asked him, what do you want? As a wish. Then he said he wants to live in a yacht, cruising the Mediterranean for the rest of his life and with no worries about money. The magician granted him his wish and sent him off to the Mediterranean. And of course, the last person who came was the editor. And the magician asked him, what do you want? The editor said, I want both the photographer and the reporter to come back here now. That is the only wish I have. This is why I asked for editors first. Very powerful people. The lesson is that if you are a photographer or a journalist, you should always make a wish when publication has gone to bed. Never you make a wish before then, because your editor can always call you back. Editor Unade, I mean, I'm not be listening as soon as powerful. Journalists, they not too reliable friends there. They go give me certificate and say champion. The next day, they mokomina and paper. My friends in the media, this evening we meet again to interact and strengthen our bond as partners in development, national development. Over the years, our friendship has grown from strength to strength. From the most vilified opposition presidential candidate prior to 2018 general election to a global champion for press freedom. As Chinua Achebe once wrote in his book, Things Fall Apart, that the lizard that jumped from the high Iroko tree to the ground said he would praise himself if no one else did. I am tempted to do the same thing. In fact, in April this year, for the first time for any city president, I visited radio and TV stations where I subjected myself to media scrutiny on my 3 years achievement and other governance issues. From SLBC TV with Salma Taba, Radio Democracy with Madam Asma James and my best friend Mabel Kaba, AYV-TV with Antonia Howard, Star TV with my friend Abdurrahman Kamara, to Justice FM with Kelvin Lamin Lamdo. We gave life to the meaning of Section 11 of the Constitution that provides for the obligation of the mass media to highlight the accountability of government to the people. I was confronted with many important questions on corruption, violence, challenges of education, yet there was also my friend on Radio Democracy, Good Morning Salon program, who asked me, waiting at your current relationship with your predecessor, the former president. He said, for what time? I said, waiting at your relationship with your former boyfriend. Suddenly, that became the highlight. You know, just in case you have also forgotten, in April, I became the very first sitting president to participate in a presidential town hall organized by Syria Eye magazine. Ladies and gentlemen, in 2021, the media continues to be an integral part of the fight against COVID-19 pandemic. The role of the media in informing citizens on the vaccination exercise, the preventive measures, the importance of testing, and even the COVID-related restrictions has been essential to contain and mitigate coronavirus in Sierra Leone. Thank you very much for playing that role very well. But sometimes I'm crucified by the media, even for doing what is right. And in July this year, with the detection of the Delta variant and an alarming third wave of COVID-19, I announced the suspension of congregational worship in churches, mosques, and other religious places for a period of 1 month in July 2021. Lo and behold, the Night Watch newspaper published a banner headline, "Doubting Beyond's Faith in God." Very interesting. The Apex newspaper had the front page, "Do not treat God with anyhow." And the Voice of Salon newspaper published, President Bio's trampling on citizens' rights. Even the opposition NDC newspaper, Salon Force, was also not happy with the restrictions, and the newspaper, on the 8th of July 2021, front page published, "Vaccination process is unlawful." As a leader, I know new restrictions and enhanced measures to contain COVID-19 are tough decisions to announce, but rest assured that I will always do what is in the best interest of the people of this country and fight COVID-19 as an enemy. Let me also use this opportunity to remind all of us that the first known case of COVID-19 Omicron variant has been discovered in Sierra Leone. Bad news. Tonight I call on you again, the media, our media family, to continue in raising awareness on health and safety measures to reduce the spread of COVID-19, especially during this festive season. Unfortunately, the political gymnastics by certain opposition parties around the 2021 midterm housing and population census must have left the media a little bemused. Don't worry. That is what opposition politicians do to attract your attention. As members of the media, I encourage you all to ensure that you are not only counted, but also use your various media platforms to monitor the census exercise to safeguard its credibility. As your president said once earlier on today, make sure you are counted. You know, why I'm never mad with journalists is because when I started my political career, I actually worked with journalists. I was Minister of Information. That is why I don't lose patience with you. I know you better than any other person. So why they have to say you get thick skin? Because I know the people I'm dealing with. Let me reiterate that the first digital census will give detailed information on the population and its dynamics, which will assist government in development planning, implementation, monitoring, and evaluation. Interestingly, some sections of the media have been quick to castigate government for not postponing the census because of the World Bank's withdrawal from fully cooperating with the final phase of the process. Ladies and gentlemen, we are an independent state. We seek assistance, but we will not stop doing what is our obligation because another entity withdraws their support. We are an independent state. We will continue with the census. I'm pleased to know that the census is going on very well in spite of the initial challenges in the first 2 days. Members of the Fourth Estate, in 2021, we witnessed the historic abolition of the death penalty as I gave presidential assent to the abolition of the Death Penalty Act 2021. Sierra Leone made history by becoming the 110th country in the world to abolish the death penalty for all crimes. As usual, the newspaper publications on the abolition of the death penalty were interesting. For instance, Concord Times newspaper published a banner headline, "Death penalty is dead and buried." Political newspaper focused on our country with a front page headline, "World hails Salona as death penalty dies." Suddenly, for the News 24 newspaper, I became an abolitionist with a banner headline, "Expunging death penalty, President Leone becomes abolitionist." Even with such great progress for our country, the cynics will always speak to Awareness Times, which published a banner headline. Cynics say Madabio is protecting himself with abolition of death penalty. I still cannot understand. And just in case you forgot that this was the manifesto, this was actually a manifesto promise. We are very, very, very deliberate. We are very, very intentional. Most of what we are doing, we have thought through, and that is why we are giving effect to them. Beyond the abolition of the death penalty, media has also supported other legislative reforms. In August, the Awoko newspaper published on its front page Gender Empowerment Bill. President Bio leaves no development stone unturned. Indeed, we will not leave any development stone unturned. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, the Fourth Estate, more than 3 years in governance, there is still media frenzy around my international travel. And 2021 has not been any different. In October this year, the Night Watch newspaper referred to me as global trusting president, and the New Age newspaper described me as Wakabot Bio. But don't worry, if I get for Wakabot, to make a phenom from the country at the Duam, but I make a tell and I say, I will continue to fly. Because of the Wakabot, we don't do plenty things then. It's not all gloomy as the naysayers want to believe, because we have rebranded our country, restored Sierra Leone's credibility with donor partners, and mobilized huge external resources as a result. Just in 2021 alone, my trip to Harvard University resulted in Sierra Leone benefiting from 24 million United States dollars that we established the very first site for deploying state-of-the-art digital design and fabrication process to give Sierra Leoneans access to quality limb prosthesis. I need to drill in deeper on this because this is going to be the state-of-the-art bionic prosthesis. And what does it do? It is not even in the United States. It is going to be done by our friends at MIT, and it is going to be, Sierra Leone is going to be the first site. What does it do? If you lose a limb as a result of anything, accident, diabetes, or let's say for those who have lost their limbs as a result of the war, this prosthesis is done in such a way that it works with your brain. If it is a hand, it functions like your brain functions. When you want to pick something and you think about it, it actually extends the hand. It is going to be here in our Wakabot Leone in the Grand Kamba. $24 million. My trip to the Global Education Summit in London and meeting with the GP Executive Director, then we say, na virtual. They say, I don't do a virtual meeting. Well, not everybody was invited. Not all heads of state were invited. But because of our impressive record with education in just 3 years, a few of us were invited. And as a result of that, Sierra Leone will be eligible for 40 million United States dollars grants, not loan, for education sector reform. My trip to Washington, D.C. also resulted in securing 25 million United States dollars to support school feeding through Catholic Relief Services, because I went to the Department of Agriculture myself and pleaded with them. On the same trip to Washington, Sierra Leone will now benefit from the World Bank additional financing order IDA 20 funding cycle to finance 5 rural bridges. We have a lot of areas where they use these very old ferries. We are going to get rid of those. And guess what? Now Wakabot Leone in the country then created bridges. My trip to Glasgow on climate change attracted a potential investor to trade in carbon in Sierra Leone. Funnily, in October, the Nationalist newspaper published on its front page, "Will President Bio travel again?" The answer is yes. as long as you will make Salome better. In fact, that tomorrow they travel. Many other international travels for statutory meetings with where other heads of states are present, like ECOWAS, African Union, United Nations. I have to do. We are part of the world community, and the world is a global village, and we are meeting all the time to discuss pertinent issues relating to global challenges. I will never abdicate my obligations to attend these statutory meetings because you are gossiping. Away from politics, 2021 has also been a very special year for our country. Sierra Leone qualified for the very first time for the African Nations Cup in 25 years. In 25 years, we are sleeping. From electronic, print to social media, we celebrated with pride and joy. This achievement united our country, and we went beyond politics. Surprisingly, even my brother, the NDC, Andrew Kaidu, in his Ponder My Thoughts column published in June, titled Sierra Leone's Success, President Bio found his keys again. He writes, President Bio is a lucky man. Coming from him, I'd like to invite him to come back to my party. Just when we thought we could not win even a Tomatis Cup, Madam Bio showed up again to take us to the African Nations Cup. That was his final conclusion. Well, just maybe because the Leone Star's success, maybe Andrew, we definitely want to come back. And I'm extending this invitation to my brother, Andrew Kaidu, to come back home. Home is always home. On governance, Sierra Leone recorded its third consecutive pass on the MCC scorecard after its first year of compact development, passed the Natural Resource Protection Indicator for the first time, and increased its gain in the area of ruling justly, moving from 81% to 83% in the fight against corruption. In fact, in 2021 scorecard shows that Sierra Leone scored the highest percentage on the control of corruption indicator than many other countries in Africa, including Nigeria, Ghana, Mali, Ivory Coast, Liberia, Cameroon, Guinea, Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, etc. The fight against corruption is not just my fight. Therefore, tonight, I want to sincerely thank all of you, the Fourth Estate, for subjecting us to in public offices to more scrutiny and demanding more accountability and transparency in the governance of the state. This is a fight we must fight, and this is a fight we must win. In 2021, Sierra Leone jumped 18 places upwards on the Global Economic Freedom Ranking 2021, moving from 168 in 2020 to 150 in 2021 as a result of robust reforms in the areas of health, education, and fiscal policy. The 2021 Press Freedom Index, published by Reporters Without Borders, indicates that Sierra Leone moved 10 places upward because we fulfilled a manifesto commitment to repeal Part 5 of the Public Order Act of 1965. In November, on behalf of Sierra Leone, I signed the Global Pledge on Media Freedom as a commitment to improving media freedom domestically and working together internationally with the Media Freedom Coalition. Sierra Leone became the 5th country in Africa to commit to the principles and values of the Media Freedom Coalition. In 2021, we also enacted the Cybersecurity and Crime Act 2021 to provide legal protection to people using the internet. Ladies and gentlemen, Experience from around the world shows that an independent media encourages greater investment from home and overseas that gives investors access to accurate data and information. It also allows greater participation by the people in the political and economic debate, which can inform and influence policy making. Therefore, I am pleased to inform you that the proposed launch of the Media Investment Conference, which is at the advanced stage, is slated for January 2022. As we seek to address investment in media, we also deeply care about professionalism. With support from the BBC Media Action and other partners, the Independent Media Commission has completed the validation of the Media Code of Practice, which has been submitted to the Ministry of Information and Communication for the necessary action and enactment. Members of the Fourth Estate, in line with my commitment to human capital development, the government, through the Information Directorate of the Ministry of Information and Communication, is in dialogue and in negotiation with partners and institutions to build capacity and empower media institutions and practitioners. This will be done through local and international scholastic training and the provision of necessary resources to promote the media sector. The Human Capital Development Program for the media will promote both vertical and horizontal growth in the sector. We also recognize that community radio stations play a critical role in bringing the communication gap in rural communities. They say, then country journalists that they are. Any journalists come up to you? Not yet, they don't get it. Am I true? The ministry, 91 not to apply that one day. The ministry has procured 6 radio suitcases and distributed 2 to rural communities to expand the footprint of community radio stations, especially in remote parts of the country. I am pleased that tonight we have journalists, I've been told, from many community radio stations here with us, and I thank you for your invaluable work in those communities. The ministry has also facilitated the ongoing rehabilitation work at SLBC headquarters in Freetown and the reconstruction of an administrative building in Koron. The Minister of Information and Communication will be doing the turning of the sword on Monday to mark the official commencement of the construction work. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, as part of our media and civil society engagement strategy, I'm pleased to know that a few weeks ago, the Ministry of Information and Communication organized a successful three-day media CSO retreat in Bo on the theme enhancing the media's contribution to good governance and democracy in Sierra Leone. I am told that the aim of the retreat was to review the key manifesto commitments in the New Direction Agenda in line with the Midterm National Development Plan 2019-2023 and highlight government's achievements and roadmap by 2023. I am hopeful that media practitioners and CSOs now have an understanding and knowledge of government programs and activities in tandem with the manifesto commitments. This should enhance government's PR strategy to promote good governance, transparency, accountability, and robust visibility. I am reliably informed that it will also serve as a platform for ministers and heads of government departments and agencies to interact with the media and the CSOs. Our friends in the media, we are not only talk and do government, but most times we deliver more than we promise. Tonight, I'm pleased to inform you that the slight annual subvention has increased from 200 million leones in 2020 to 500 million for the financial year 2021. This is not to compromise the independence of the Sierra Leone Association of Journalists. Rather, it is to enhance your capacity to hold the government accountable to the people of Sierra Leone. So I will end by leaving you with these few words by the author Dave Bratt, and I quote, "Media does play a vital role in our democracy. And if we cannot depend on journalistic ethics, the nation is in trouble." End of quote. With that quote, I wish you a wonderful festive season and a prosperous new year. Thank you. God bless you.